I want to talk today about something that can impact your life, change you forever. And that's a bold statement I promise to deliver. Today, we're talking about goal setting. So what I have here, guys, comes from the book, The One Thing. This is awesome. This is my adaptation of it. Here, what we're going to do is kind of break down goal setting. And ultimately what goals are, when you think about it, they're stepping stones from getting us from one place to the next. Right here, we have our someday goal. What's the one thing you want to do someday? Is it own $1 million business? Live in a different country? What's your biggest goal that you can imagine? Based on your someday goal, what's the one thing you're going to do for the next 5 years to get there? Then you go, okay, what's my 1 year goal? So based on that 5 year goal, what's the one thing I can do this year to get me closer to that? Then you go down to your monthly goal. So based on your 1 year goal, you can fill in the rest, how do you get to that year goal? And then your weekly goal, and then your daily goal, and then your right now goal. So if you focus on kind of expanding it this way, you just break it down and it gets simpler. And when you simplify it, you can see it all come together. Those someday goals start today, and the things you do today will eventually compound and get yourself there over time. Goal setting kind of, in my mind, has this cheesy suit and tie 3-piece attitude with a motivational speaker talking about the 3 points of goal setting. So today it's going to be a different format because I think that's really stiff and boring and it puts me to sleep. And I want this to be exciting and fun for you at home. And at the end of this video, I'm going to do 2 things. The first is I'm going to give you time to set your own goals and show you exactly how I've been doing it. And then after that, I'm going to show you what my goals are. Go inside my journal. I'm big on that. And kind of give you an inside look of everything I'm doing this year, uncensored, unfiltered, raw. But before all that, I want to touch on 2 things: the why and the what. So there's a lot of theories with why we set goals, but for me, the biggest one comes down to this. Every single thing in the world was created not 1 time, but 2 times. This camera that you're watching me on right here, that guy, this microphone that I'm recording on, this pen, this journal, it's all created twice. Once in reality, yes, we know this camera's physically here, we know this microphone's physically here, everything. But the second was in the mind, and that sometimes is harder than the actual physical manifestation of something. Because it's easy once you have the blueprints to just print 500 cameras. They got 3D printers now doing that. But it's hard to get yourself in that mindset of where anything's possible and you can do it, and what do you want to achieve. So that's what goal setting does, is it gives you a time to set aside all those kind of limiting beliefs and fear that it can't be done. And it gives you time to tune in and tap into what you really want to achieve and create. All right, so that's why we set goals. I was reading some research in a book, I think I have it, The Power of Having Your Own Library, Flow, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, The Psychology of Optimal Experience. And he basically says that the people surveyed at the end of their lives, the ones that are happiest, report being in that state of flow the longest. Now, what is the flow state? I like to think of the flow state as this right here. On one axis, you have the level of challenge. How challenging is something? And on the other axis, you have the level of skill. How good are you, or bad, at that activity? If the task is really challenging and we don't have a lot of skill, we get anxiety. All right, this is before a test when you didn't study. It's a hard test, you don't have the skill, you're kind of anxious and nervous about it. This could be starting a new job, it's really challenging and you don't have the skill, you're anxious, you're nervous about it. This could be having too many things going on that are challenging and you feel like you're not qualified. This is where we get anxiety, okay? That's very important, keep that in mind. Now, what if we're too good at something and we don't have a lot of challenge? Well, we get boredom, all right? This is a perfect example of when you're overqualified for a position. I remember scrubbing bagel sheets at Einstein Bagels, being so bored out of my mind, thinking, is this all there is? There's got to be more to it. And I'll come back to that story in a minute. This is not a good place to be, neither is anxious. But what's that level of the middle? There's got to be something in the middle there between where we're being challenged and we still have a good level of skill about it. Well, this is what he calls the flow state. This is where time passes. This is where we're being challenged and we're using our skills. And this is where goal setting comes into play. When you're green, you're growing, and when you're ripe, you start to rot. This is where goals come in. Having a goal can be very refreshing because it gets you in that flow state. It challenges you. But I think also, when you look at nature, it's either growing or dying. And this might sound a little morbid, but I promise there's a silver lining in it. Hear me out. I have this Chinese bamboo tree right here. Let me show you. And I like it because a lot of you know on this channel it symbolizes consistent work, yada, yada, yada. And right now, there's some growth here. But it started really, really full. It had tons of leaves on this thing. And then I forgot to water it, give it sunlight, and so they started falling off and crumpling up. If you're not growing, you're dying. And the reason you die is so you can give life to other things that are growing in the ground. And I think a lot of us, at whatever level we're dying, we're kind of falling off the tree. We're not green anymore. We're not growing. There's no growth. Personally, guys, for me, this is when depression comes in. This is where boredom comes in. This is where anxiety comes in. All that ick starts creeping in when I'm not striving towards something. And this is why goal setting, what we're about to do, is so important. Again, we're tapping into that flow state, we're growing, we're staying green. So what are goals? Well, I think it'd be helpful now to kind of share a story with you about one time I set a goal and what it did for me. So there I was in college. I was going to a private university. It cost $40,000 a year. Yeah, $40,000. And I was scrubbing those Einstein bagel dishes. And I just said, you know what? There's got to be more to this. I'm not going to be in debt. I feel like my time is worth more than $9 an hour and 54 cents. And I got to find a way to utilize my potential. You could say I was in that boredom state of that flow chart. And in fact, I wanted to be more in that flow state. And so there I was, I was doing housekeeping in the summer just to pay off college. And I was listening to podcasts and said, you know what? I'm going to set a goal. I've never done this. I have no experience, zero experience in this. But I'm listening to these podcasts, and Sean Croxton with Underground Wellness was interviewing people. And I said, you know what? I could do that. I could interview people. I bet I could do that, even though I had no experience at all. And so I set a goal that year that by the end of 2014, it was 2013. By the end of 2014, I was going to get into podcasting, and I was going to be making $10,000 of self-generated income off podcasting, off upgrading my time, not trading it for dollars for hours, but investing my time into something bigger and more worthwhile. All right, so that was my goal, $10,000. And my grades kind of suffered, but that's another story. And so I started learning everything about podcasting. How do you set up an RSS feed? How do you link it with a blog? What are iTunes terms and conditions? A month later, after setting that goal, actually on the call with who? The guy I was listening to when I was scrubbing toilets for $9 an hour over the summer. Sean Croxton.
That's hilarious, man. Hey, congrats on getting the show going, man. That's really cool.
Hey, dude, thanks, man. Thanks for coming on. People like you inspired me. And after that, he plugged me in with this blog that said, hey, we like what you're doing. Why don't you come work with us? We can help each other grow, and we'll give you a salary. So within 3 months' time of setting that goal, I hit my mark of $10,000 a year, self-generated income off podcasting. There I went. I went from zero, nothing. I had no experience whatsoever. I was an 18, 19-year-old kid to making $10,000 a year, trading my hours now for investment and upgrading it. September of 2013 to August of 2014, okay? All right, so here are the numbers. There it is. Look at that, on the dot. I mean, that's the power of goal setting right there. Had I not set that goal, had I said, you know what, I'm a 19-year-old kid, no one's gonna listen to me, I don't have experience, and I should just stick to paying my dues and kind of just, putting my head down and working really hard. None of that would have happened, guys. I mean, I have 3 other stories like that. We could talk about woofing in Hawaii, living somewhere for free in between college semesters when I had no clue how. We could talk about backpacking in Southeast Asia and setting goals to get there and see the world and travel on my own and scuba dive and ride through the cliffs of Thailand. All right, so the power of goal setting. In other words, you might not know how it's all gonna play out, but if you can get yourself in that state of where you want it, it's your why, in other words, things seem to manifest and come together. All right, so you ready? Let's set some goals. We're gonna set goals in 3 areas, and these 3 areas are a triangle. And if any one of these 3 areas is out of balance, your life kind of starts to slip. When you're working and resting too much, you kind of just want some free time to play. Or when you're playing and resting too much, you don't have that fire under you to work. You have that grind. You feel like a sloth. And then if you're just working and playing and you don't have any rest, well, you get burned out quickly. In a little bit, what you're going to do is pause this video and spend 10 minutes, just 10, on each of these areas. I want you, while you're doing this, to be thinking about 3 things. Stephen Pressfield calls it in The War of Art. He calls that resistance the dragon. He gets really into it. And he says that nagging voice in your head is the dragon that you have to slay. And you're the hero in the story. And every single time you conquer resistance, you're slaying that dragon. Another analogy I love is Birdman. You know that movie that came out last year? And a lot of people think that movie was kind of wacky and he was a schizophrenic and he had mental issues, but man, I got chills when I saw that movie because I'm getting chills right now. Talk about portraying resistance when he's facing that bird or his ego right in front of him. That's that nagging voice that says, who are you? You used to be a good actor. Now you're going to let this guy come in and steal your show? Or, oh, that should be you out there. You're the star. Or, oh, this. So that, man, picture that. That's what you're going up against right now, okay? So get in the state of where you believe anything's possible, okay? Don't censor yourself. Now, the great Tony Robbins, the man, the myth, the legend, he says that an easy way to think about this is to act like you're a kid on Christmas, all right? So put on your pajamas, and if you're sitting on Santa's lap and he asks you, what do you want for Christmas? You don't say a realistic thing. Well, my parents have a $300 budget, so, I guess a medium toy will do. No, they say, I want a PS3, I want an Xbox One, I want 5 games. I'm gonna get a castle and 2 castles for my friend too. Yeah, 2 castles. And adults, we don't have that. We lose that because we're too realistic. Get unrealistic here when you're setting your goals, all right? That's the first thing. Okay, the second thing you're gonna do, when you take a break for these 10 minutes on 3 sections, the first thing you're gonna do is the work section, all right? I want you to anchor a word to each of these sections. So for the work section, the word you're going to anchor in your mind, when you think about work, that has a negative connotation. It's kind of like, I'm going into work, I'm mailing it in. I want you to think of contribution as the word you swap out. All right? So contribution. What do you want to give in this world? What do you want to make in this world? What do you want to contribute? What flow state, right there in the middle, what do you want to be doing in that flow state? Do you want to be a nurse taking care of people? Is that your contribution and your giving? But you don't have the degree, so you got to go to school and all that. Don't worry about that. Remember, what do you want to contribute? For the rest, what I want you to anchor the word for resting. These are your personal goals. So here we're talking about health. We're talking about spirituality, whatever you want to believe. We're talking about reading books. We're talking about habits you want to incorporate, okay? That's your personal goals. And the last area are your play goals, all right? Work, rest, play. Contribution, personal. This one is adventure. You gotta have fun. I mean, you gotta have fun. Goal setting can be really serious and we can take ourselves so seriously, but if you relax into it, sometimes you get the same result. Without getting too far into that, that's my little, laugh at yourself plug. What kind of fun do you want to have this year? Do you want to travel? Do you want to take up a new hobby? Do you want to buy something in here that's materialistic? All right, that's where you put this. And then the third thing we're gonna do with this goal setting workshop is we're gonna go back through and rank order these and give them a kind of time frame. So right now, the first thing we're gonna do is you're gonna pause this video and you're gonna write for 10 minutes. You're gonna write down everything you wanna do in that work section, the contribution section. What do you wanna do? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want to grow an existing business? Do you want to get a new job? If you had all the time and all the money in the world, what would you be doing? Okay, answer that for 10 minutes and you'll get some good goals. How do you get paid to do what you love? Do you love going to, sporting events? Can you start a podcast on that and generate an avenue through ad revenue? Remember, don't worry about the how, worry about the why. Pause this video and spend 10 minutes on each of those areas. Just 10 minutes of time of where you can actually go through and think about what you want to be creating. Now you might be saying, if you already did that, okay, great, now what, Clark? I just have a list of random goals. Okay, and what I'd recommend you do now is pause this video again, go through all the goals for those 3 sections and assign them a 1, 2, 5, or 10 year time frame. Okay, once each of those are numbered a certain year, look at your top 3 1-year goals from each of those sections. Okay, your work, top 1 goal, your rest, top 1 goal, and your play, top 1 goal. What you're gonna do now is I'm gonna show you my journal right here and how you're gonna write it down in your journal, because you gotta see this every day and you're gonna get something that looks like that right there written down in the back of your journal. Write those down. All right, guys, so this is my goal section right here. A lot of you have seen this in other videos. You're looking at it right here. So I got my play goals, I got my rest goals, and I got my work goals. So for the work section, right, I have it right there, contribution. My one thing this year for work is to turn pro. And so I set goals for 2016 that I want to have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. This is where I want to be by June 2016. All right. I think I'm at 8,000 right now. I want to get to 10,000 because I want to impact people's lives. And the more people we can reach, the faster we can grow this, and the more time I can devote to it, to making these high quality videos. It's 10,000, 20,000 by October 2016. Yes, I want to double that in October. I'm very optimistic that we can do that. The growth rate is insane, and it's a hockey stick with YouTube. So it starts slow, and then it eventually compounds and gets bigger. And then, you know what? 30,000 by 2017. Why not? Let's go for it. I got to upgrade my gear, which I did down here. This is everything I wanted to save up for and buy. So my main camera, the T5i, boom, I got it. Lighting, 3-piece lighting, boom, I got it. Side camera, right now I'm filming on the Canon G7X, boom, I got it. GoPro session, boom, I got it. Still want to get that lens. Audio, Rode video mic, boom, got it. Tripod, boom, got it. Card, got it. Got it. This took, guys, and this wasn't just like I had a credit card and I swiped and put it on here. I mean, I paid in full for all this, and it was because I wrote it down and it was important. I knew it was going to be able to upgrade the content of this channel. And so I set goals of exactly what I wanted to get. And here we are on all the gear. Okay. So that's the best part, guys. When you do this, you get to come back here and get to check it off. All right. Paleo Hacks, my radio show. I want to do 50 high quality shows. Okay, 50 shows. Moving up here, I want to get my email list to 5,000 people. I want to do 50 emails to my list this year. That's about one a week. Blog post, responding contents. The journaling product, I want to release it March 1st. Kegley & Co. pomade. This is a fun project I'm starting with my brother. We're actually doing a men's hair company. I think it's kegleyandco.com. You can actually see our pretty faces on there. That's just a blast. I've been having a good time. Apply to Survivor 2016, guys. Yes, I am so serious. I already applied. I made the videotape. You know, why not? That's my favorite show since I was a kid. And, you know, I'm not trying to be some fancy reality TV star, but hey, we can go for it. And then that's just a program I'm going through to try and make some passive income and just explore it, okay? So, rest goals. What are my personal rest goals? My one thing this year is to invest in myself. I want to double down on that. Just keep piling in books right there, 25, 50, 100. And I want to get to 10% body fat. And in doing this, I want to document it. Yoga on Saturdays, read. No alcohol this January. Already did that. I like taking a month off, cleanse myself. Not that I'm like a heavy drinker by any means, but it's easy to get that. It's easy for that to become a default way you relax or a habit, habitual response. And I don't ever want to get to the place of where I'm using alcohol as kind of a relaxant or relying on it. So every year I take a month off just to be sure. Okay. Save 10% at least 10%. I used to give to an orphanage, but I realized that when I went down there, the money wasn't being as evenly distributed, or it wasn't going towards the kids, and that was kind of disappointing. My dad always told me, Clark, if you can't manage money when you don't have a lot of it, you're never going to be able to manage money when you do have a lot of it. Okay? So why would you give someone more responsibility if they can't even have, if they're not even responsible with what they have? And I think with donating, applying that same advice, you know, if we don't give when we maybe don't have enough money to be giving, well, then it's never going to get any easier. And when we do have money one day, we're never going to have that empathy switch flip on overnight to where we're like, oh, I better start giving now. In fact, you know, in the Bible, I'm not a practicing Christian. I grew up Christian, but I remember that story of Jesus and the parable, I think, of the woman in the offering basket. And everyone was making fun of this woman because she went up there and gave 2 coins. Oh my God, she gave 2 coins. Why would you even bother? And he says, why are you all making fun of this woman? She actually gave the most proportionately because she has the least. So that's just kind of my little Oprah moment I just had here on the show. All right, moving on. Play, my adventure goals. My 1 is to laugh at myself times 2, haha. We all know my favorite saying, tighten up or loosen up, and I think I need to be of the loosening. Travel, Nepal, India, Vietnam, I want to vlog that. I don't know if that'll happen this year, but I wrote it in the back just in case. I want to start moving towards that, at least getting things set up in 2017 to where that's a reality. Poi, this is fire dancing. This is my play goal this year. I want to learn to fire dance. 100% serious, guys. It's not like I have all the free time in the world. In fact, I work really hard. I mean, you see all my projects up there. I stress myself out working to the bone and grinding it out. But this is the one thing I want to do and kind of learn this year. I love learning. And drum videos. I want to get back into drumming and put out some more videos. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of how you could actually do it. All right. Woo! Okay, guys, that is it. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching this goal setting video. Couple things now. If that was helpful, the first place I would start is right here, the 11 questions to change your life. This is an ebook I put out, and it's got the 11 best questions I've ever asked myself, the people I work with. We've been getting great feedback on it. The next place I'd start right here, Ultimate Guide to Keeping a Journal, Part 2. This is the video where I talk about kind of how to keep yourself accountable using a journal. Number one thing I've done. Big thumbs up, subscribe for more videos, and that's it. Happy goal setting. Let me know how it goes in the comments down below. Give me your one most important goal that you are working towards. That's the question I want you to answer in the comments below. Your one thing, your one goal. Answer that below, and I love seeing those kinds of comments. That's all I got. Until next time, guys, stop settling, start living. I'll see you later.